In this video we're doing Lab 3, and in Lab 3 we're adding on to our master control relay circuit one additional run to start a three-phase 1 horsepower motor. So we'll need a stop switch, a start switch, a running light, and a motor controller, all of which are already in my picture. So now first thing we're going to do is run a wire from the master control relay to the stop switch. So we're going to run a wire from the master control relay to the stop switch. And then we're going to run a wire from the start switch, from the stop switch to the start switch. And that can be a short wire, naturally.
I'm looking for the short wire.
Then we're going to run a wire from the start switch to the main relay of the motor starter. From the start switch to the main motor starter solenoid.
There's the wire. I think they should make all the screws either flat or Phillips, not both.
You get what you pay for.
Where'd you say I'm coming from?
From the start switch.
Front side or back side?
Back side.
Does it have a negative?
The start switch?
Yeah.
No, but it's got a front and back technically. Like it's got the hot side and the unpowered side.
So we're going
It doesn't matter which is which until you put the first wire on. So whichever one you go into is first, and whatever you go into is second. So exactly. Okay, now we're going to go from the main coil to the overload with a small wire. Main motor to the overload with a small wire. The overload is on the motor controller, on the left, on the side, on the bottom. Then we're going to take a white wire from the overload back up to common. A white wire from the overload back up to common.
That one's really fun to get.
okay. It's both of our space.
Alright. I'm out of your hair.
Are you doing math 751?
Doing what?
Math 751.
Is that TechMat 3?
Yes.
Yes,
Is it online or?
it is online.
Yeah, and again, if we're going to run a wire to common, it's going to be white. Okay, next we're
It
going
is
to run.
fine. Oh.
We're going to run a wire between the start and the stop to contact number 2 of the controller. So between the start and the stop switch, so the technician will decide whether or not he wants to use the start screw or the stop screw. Either way, it's just the wire between the two to the main motor controller, contact number 2.
I copied it to my computer. Is he making a movie of you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He said he was going to record all the labs.
Yep.
Are you recording sound?
Yes, we're recording sound.
Oh.
Now we said we were going to hook that wire up to the contact 2, but our technician in fact put it on contact 3, which is okay. A contact is a contact, no one cares. So we're going to change it to going to 3, and then we're going to use 2
Oh my.
for the next wire. Right means that it works, wrong means that it doesn't work. And because the drawing didn't tell us which contact we use until we write on the drawing, it doesn't really matter. Now again, when we hook up 2 wires to a connection on one of our switches, we put 1 wire on either side of the screw. And of course, having a lab partner that picks up your tools for you is always convenient too.
Jeez. That was hard.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is run a wire from 2 on the auxiliary contact of the main motor controller to a position between the start switch and M, the main contact. Now this is going to be a short wire because we're not going to go all the way back to start. We're going to go from 2 to where the start comes in to the main motor. So this is going to be main motor controller. So this is going to be a very small wire. Okay, the next wires we're going to run is from the running light So the first wire is going to go between start and the main motor controller and the running light, which means we're going to have another short wire from there to there. Right, exactly.
I have all my short wires.
So we're hooking up the running light next. We're going between the start and the main motor controller. We're using a short wire to do that because we're not going to run one way back. If I was making 1,000 of these up and I used an extra 3 feet of wire that I don't need to use, then that's all my profit down to the drain, and I wouldn't want to do that. Now, the next wire we're going to run is from the running light to either the output of the main motor contact or the overload on the bottom. But we see we already have 2 wires connected in this spot. And when I go back and I look at my drawing, I notice that there shouldn't be, because the second wire there was supposed to go to 2. So this wire needs to come out and come into 2. And while you're at it, this wire needs to come out and come into 3 from the other direction.
Why doesn't it go in the other direction?
Yeah.
No, why?
Because that's the way you bring the wire
Oh,
in.
okay.
You wouldn't bring the wire the way you
All right.
have it.
So should I flip this one down to 2 then?
Your picture says it's on 3.
Okay.
Because that's what you wrote on your picture. So you could,
But you wrote in pen.
Yes.
That we just have a scribble mark. So.
when we look up at the wires that are manufacturally installed here, you see they're coming in on the back side.
All right. Underneath the lid.
Yeah. So some of our wiring is personal preference, some of it is common practice. In general, when you're doing it for a control panel, the architect would have already had, the designer would have had all a bunch of numbers and told you exactly where you put it, told you the exact size of wire to use, where to bend it, and you'd have a whole lot of other restrictions dealing with what you're doing. We're trying to make it work. Okay, so we need a wire from the running light going back to either M or the overload, the wire between M and the overload.
And it's a hot wire.
It could be, yeah.
M is these 2.
Yes, that's the right spot. Mhm. Now, as we noticed, our breaker box is in fact open, so our system is de-energized. Those wires have to go in different spots. Our technician is trying to make the running light not work and introduce a direct short
What?
into, those
What?
wires go to different spots on the running light.
Why?
When I look at the picture, I see the running light has a wire on one side and a wire on the other side. It doesn't have 2 wires on one side. So
Which
you've already,
wire is this?
You've already hooked this wire up
And that's the hot.
going that way, which is the wire going to the hot. Now you're wiring a cold wire.
Why is
going
that?
to
Why is
the
that?
other side.
Why is this not hot?
That's not gonna be hot because it's turning this guy on.
Oh, because when
That's
this
my
goes
load.
on, that becomes common.
That's right, when this is on, then that becomes common.
All right.
It's common now until the overload opens.
It's not common right now, so.
Well, until the overload opens.
Yeah, but
it
this would
be.
have to be on for it to be common, right?
No,
No.
no.
So it's common right now.
Yeah, it would be common right now until the overload opens, and then it ceases to be common.
Okay.
So right now, this guy is normally closed, so this is really hooked up to common. This
Oh,
is really
okay.
common coming over this way.
Well, if I would have known that, I would use a white wire here and a white wire there.
Yeah, you could have. Yeah, that would have been an okay thing to do too. Okay, well, now we have 3 more wires to hook up. We need to get 3-phase power from our breaker box and into here. And because we don't really want to play in the breaker box, we're going to go and connect the wires from the downside of this guy into there. 3 of them, 1, 2, 3. L1 to L1, L2 to L2, and L3 to L3.
Red wire?
Red wire would be fine. 1 red, 1 black, 1 red would be okay. No white wire.
What?
No white wire,
Okay.
because it's 3 phases of power.
What about a blue wire?
A blue wire would be an okay wire for that application. Blue is normally used for DC, but if you use a blue wire in that application, to say it's a different phase would be an all right thing to do.
Well, they use blue wire right there, that's why I was saying that.
Yeah. Again, in a industrial application, you'd have no choice. It would have already been chosen for you in the schematic. In general, when hooking up this wire, we want the wire to go through the knockouts so that we can put
That makes
the
sense.
cover back on.
But we can't put the cover back on. because-
That's right, because we didn't bother to send those wires through the knockouts. But at least we can put the top cover back on.
So this one is like, it goes like this,
Yeah, white wire from there
to
to common.
the color.
Now, why did you run 2 big wires, long wires, instead of a short wire in there? You just trying to confuse the instructors. The 3 guy.
I have two of them.
Yeah.
This
So the
one
2
is
guy
like,
has no choice. He's got to run back to between the start and stop. But the 3 guy has a choice, and he could run to here, to there. He could run to there, your 3 guy. So he could just be a short wire instead of using a big long wire. Because I got this big long wire, I just got to chase the wire back and see where it's going to before we turn it on.
So a practical,
So it's going to the right spot, so that's all right, that it's going to the right spot.
okay,
It's
but
cool,
if
but-
I could do it, yeah.
but
Yeah.
This hunk of wire is 3 cents of wire, and that piece of wire is a ½ cent of wire. Yeah. All right, well, continue.
Well, but that's-
Don't put it up above. Put it down below. Put it, come here this way.
see, I was being proactive and avoiding,
I can imagine.
But turns out I'm gonna be wrong either way.
I would hope so.
So that black one needs to come to the bottom too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would
See,
be best.
when you said, like over here, when you said they all come through on the same side,
Yeah.
I'm assuming, oh, they all come through on the same side up there too.
The difference is, the issue is, do I want to run the wire out of the top coming this way, or do I want to run it out of the bottom coming this way? If I run it out of the top, I have a strain on the wire, but bend in the wire coming that way. I have if I run it off the bottom side. So right now, I'm not using this device as a forward reverse controller. I'm using these three things as a terminal board. So I don't bring my wires into the top of this guy, I bring them into the bottom of this guy. So that's the issue there. I'm using them differently than what he's designed to be used for. So I'm using him for convenience to get three-phase power.
Alright.
You're still missing your third phase.
Yeah, I was gonna go get that wire. Is that blue? No.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm done. Looks like I'm done.
Sorry.
Is that right? See, when you don't use a short wire, it's hard to know. I'm not sure that it's right yet.
It would be right if you threw the switch at first.
That would be right. But I'm not sure that we're right yet.
Have fun, guys, have fun. Yeah. Cody's making it look nice too.
I don't think you're right.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think you're right.
Well, I think
I think your start button's not going to the right spot.
start with, Doug, I have a real quick question. 27, where did 28 grams came from? It's just because it's gay?
Nitrogen. Okay, so nitrogen is 14, but it's diatomic. There's two of them. So it's N2, so 2 times 14 is 28.
Oh.
So that's why it was 28
No, it's
grams per
presenting
mole.
itself, okay.
But you have kilograms up there? Well, you have grams here and kilograms up there. Oh, and that's why you have 1,000. Okay, got it.
Okay, okay, now I get it.
Yeah. And the answer to that in the book is probably wrong. It's probably wrong.
What you said, I'll check it.
No. Well, it's a different problem. Yeah, so it's probably right. Okay, that's what it's about.
Oh,
after your year of chemistry you have later on, you understand these things.
I never took chemistry, really.
Okay, we ready to turn it on?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, turn on now. Turn the switches around. All right, so I come from here to there. I come from here to here. Now, on the bottom guy, I'm going back to 3, or 2. The top guy is going to the light, and the top guy is going to 3. But where did this guy go?
This one
Why?
went to the
This
light.
guy's going to the opposite side of the light. That's what I object to. That's not right. So, so this side, this one side of the light has one wire. Okay, this is that one wire. I trace it back, it's going here. But my one wire doesn't go there. Okay. My one wire could go here. But if I have this wire on this side of the light is going there. That's what it's doing, Paul. This wire
Yesterday I was up
is going there.
Which is
Okay, so that means that this side of the light should only have
Working?
one wire,
Oh, working most of
and
it.
that one wire should leave here and go to common.
You're working fool.
That guy.
this.
All right, so
Well,
if
no,
it goes there, which it does, but what is this wire about?
Your kitchen?
There's no second wire. To the bottom side of the light, there's no second wire.
This wire is coming from.
I didn't really get electrocuted.
This wire is
What'd you
coming.
do?
I was kidding.
Oh, okay.
This wire.
So we have power on, the master control relay's on, and we turn on the start button, and nothing happens. Now we gotta figure out what's wrong with your circuit. Turn off power.
It didn't work yesterday either.
So, that's what's running, that might be, no, it's on this one. Why are we not turning on?
So if we,
See that wire that isn't connected? See the wire that's not connected going to common?
so
That's why when you don't go and just do that. Okay, now back over here. You have a running light.
that's
On one side of the running light, you should have a wire going there.
going to the.
Okay, the only side of the running light with a wire is this wire, and
Okay.
it's going to the wrong place.
This is the wrong place.
That's the wrong place.
I thought this is,
What?
this is 10.
Because
Yes, but you have it
the
going-
other half of the
it should be
screwdriver is
that
gone.
side of that, the M going to the overload, not
just
the
happened
M
to fit on there.
away from the
Yeah.
overload.
Wait, you're
It's the
taking
M
my screwdriver?
between
That's your
M
screwdriver?
to
Well, that's the one I've
overload.
been using all day.
That spot. All right, so
He's
because
been
this
using
goes
that
in
one.
the wrong spot, now you have these two wires,
I mean, I guess they're not
and
ours,
they're going
but
to the wrong spot too.
we've been using them the whole class.
So, at best, those wires are wrong.
The light wire.
So the light wires. And it might be more than that, but at least the light wires are wrong. All right, now we're gonna try this one more time. And of course, it's not gonna work again.
What? It actually worked?
Well, it actually didn't work because the motor's not running.
Yeah, because the motor's not hooked up yet.
Well, why didn't you hook up the motor? The instructions clearly said, as I read my instructions here, use the master control relay circuit with three-phase motor control,
Yeah.
wire three-phase power to the motor as well. Yes, right there in English. So,
It's kind of English.
all right, so now we
So
have...
now we have a yellow wire, which is also DC.
So
Someone
now we,
conveniently.
well, that's fine, because now that we're just color coding it.
Okay.
So, because this is low power, we have three wires hooked together, And then T1, is that T1?
This is 8 and 2.
That's 8 and 2. Okay, 8 and 2 go in the middle.
Yes, they do.
The good news here, gentlemen, is we're only 30 minutes into the video. I'm sure we have 30 more minutes left.
Okay, now 1 and 7 go first.
1 and 7 go to L1, yes.
Is there some type of thing about that?
Yes.
Like
if
does
you-
1
if you
always go first?
Yes.
And,
A, B, C, 1, 2, 3.
all right.
If you want to go forward. If you don't want to go forward, then you
One goes
switch this.
last.
Then you go 1, 3, 2, A, B, C.
Wait, so you'd switch these two to switch the direction?
Oh, yeah. And if you look at your forward reversing controller, just above him, that's what it does up there. You see that you have bus work that switches not the first phase isn't switched. It stays the same, I think, but the other two get switched. But all I have to do is switch 2 phases and it changes direction. It doesn't matter which 2 phases. Why not? Well, which one's A? The one you call A. The one that happens first. When Tesla started. I guess we don't really know which one that is, do we? Okay, now the motor's on. And we're ready to turn power back on.
Yes.
And master control relay's ready to go. The light's on. The motor comes on. And we
Motor's
have
spinning.
the motor's spinning roundy.
In the correct direction?
In the correct direction, I'm sure. And that ends lab number 3.